Hello, it's Monday, March the 2nd, 2026. I'm Matt Manson. I'm the President and CEO of Radisson Mining Resources. And today, Radisson is announcing a meaningful increase in the estimated mineral resources at the O'Brien Gold Project located in Quebec's Abitibi. Now, this is an interim report because we're partway through a 140,000 meter step-out drill program that's going to take us well into 2027. And rather than leave it until then to tell you what the result of all this drilling has been, we're doing a series of step-by-step interim reports here, and really it's designed to give you a tangible sense of the impact on the project that all this recent drilling success has been having. And the headline result from today's press release is very much an 82% increase in the quantity of inferred mineral resources. And of course, that's what we're going for here. This is a step-out drill program designed to see scope and scale of the project. We're not doing an infill drilling at this stage. But we have also seen an 8% increase in the quantity of indicated mineral resources. And taken together, all categories, we're seeing 2.3 million ounces here now at O'Brien. And that compares to 1.5 million in all categories previously. That's a very healthy 800,000 ounce increase. And we're just 25% of the way through that 140,000 meter drill program. So there's 72,500 meters for schedule with 8 rigs for this year, 32.5 for next year, none of which is included in the numbers you're about to see today or the graphics you're about to see. So we're making progress here. Okay, of course, O'Brien, it's in the Abitibi. Here's Timmins in the west, on the Ontario side of the border. There's Val-d'Or in the east. Let's zoom in on the Quebec part of the Abitibi. Here we are. There, that blue is the Radisson property south of the town of Cadillac. Let's zoom in there. Lots of mines and mills in the area. This is a very prolific gold mining part of the world. Specifically, our two immediate neighbors are the La Ronde mine with Agnico Eagle. That's just 3 kilometers over the back fence. And you go 21 kilometers down Highway 117, you get to the Doyen Westwood complex of IAMGOLD. Now, of course, O'Brien was an operating mine, operated between 1927 and 57, and it produced about 500,000 ounces of gold. Now, with the new resource of 2.3 million ounces, the project is now 4 times the size of the original mine. And that's the theme of this presentation this morning. O'Brien is a large project and getting larger still. Okay, now let's take you through some before and after here to show you on a step-by-step basis how this resource is growing. There's the old mine, finished mining in 57 at 1 kilometer depth. There's the 2025 mineral resource, which was a reblocking of a 23 estimate, which was based on drilling to the end of 22. So the new numbers today include drilling in 23, but mostly 24 and 25. And this estimate from 25 just went down to about 900 meters depth. And so looking at this at the end of 24, we said, well, listen, we've got 5 kilometers of strike extent here that's very healthy. It's open to the east and west. But our exploration floor is probably 2 kilometers. That's what we can mine to economically, probably, at least in today's environment. And we got lots of real estate going down towards that floor. So let's start drilling down and let's be aggressive with it. And in 70 years, nobody had drilled below the old mine. We put the first hole down there and we hit an ounce over 8 meters at the end of 24. And now, a year later, this is what it looks like. We're hitting with an 84% success rate with these deep pilot holes and wedges, 84% hitting gold intercepts that have grades and thicknesses consistent with the parameters in these resource estimates. And in particular, we've been focusing people's attention to what's happening below the old mine. Now, we've been hitting with 100% success rate here, and we've been delineating a system of parallel veins, up to 8 veins we have now, which have continuity with the former mine workings and which are delineated over about a 250 meter width and a 700 meter top to bottom vertical extent. Now, what's going on with the multiple veins? Well, it's clear that the old mine was high graded. The old timers picked out the highest grade central vein, which was 0.5 ounce average grade. But there was a whole bunch of parallel structures that they found but didn't touch because they were 6, 7, 8 grams per ton. And that wasn't ore for them back in the day, back in the 50s. It would be for us now. And as we drill below the old mine, we're seeing the downward continuity of all these parallel structures up to 8. And we're also seeing good continuity within the drilling. 2 weeks ago, we put a press release out that was focused on this model, and it was really designed to communicate the confidence we have as geologists that we are seeing continuity, it's making sense, and we're dialed into these structures and where they're going. So let's step out again and look at the totality of drill results over that past 12 months. That's what it looks like. You do an estimate around that, and there's your 2.3 million ounces that we're announcing this morning. It's looking very good. Let's back out again and think about where we're going from now on. We've got a lot of drilling to do this year. Where are we going to go? Well, more of the same. We've got a lot of real estate between where we are and the 2 kilometer floor, and we're going to fill in some of these blank spaces here. These gray areas here around that new resource are due to a lack of drilling, not a lack of resources. And so we estimated today also an update to our exploration target to find us between 500,000 and 2 million ounces at similar grades based upon this system filling into that 2 kilometer floor. So we see a 3 to 4 million ounce deposit here, and we're tracking in that direction. Hopefully we're giving confidence that we're on target for achieving that. I just reiterate the point of classification of resource here. Again, we're going for scale here. We're not going for confidence. And so we're doing large step outs. We're getting inferred resources, and that's going to continue. That's what the theme of this 140,000 meter drill program is going to be. Now let's talk about grade. The old mine, 500,000 ounces at 0.5 ounce average grade. Very high grade deposit. And of course, O'Brien was and is famous for very high grade mining chutes that were plunging steeply, which returned some very spectacular examples of visible gold, which are in various museum collections, including the Royal Ontario Museum in Toronto. Now, this very, very high grade mine is still here. It's still within these numbers, and let me show you how. This is a table we put into the press release this morning. It's a sensitivity table showing resource numbers by cutoff. You see these quite commonly. But what we did here was also show you graphically what the ore body looks like at these different cutoffs. So top left, there's the old mine. We estimate an 8-gram cutoff they were probably using back in the day. That would be a $700 gold price assumption for us using modern costs. And that gives you a healthy resource. It's a 13-gram resource. There's your very, very high grade. But look at the shape of that thing. It looks like the old mine. It's these high-grade plunging chutes of ore that back in the day, they would have mined that with selective manual mining. We wouldn't do that type of mining today. Let's look top right, 4.5 grams. That was what Radisson used 2 years ago in a lower gold price environment. Today, that would be about $12.50 for us using our cost profile. And that gives you a very healthy resource. It gives you something between 8 and 9 grams per ton. Very good, very high grade. And it gives you about 1.5 million resources. And that might be a future defensive position if the gold price falls. You might want to go back and mine at that kind of cutoff. You can. That project is still there. But we wouldn't mine that way either today. 2.2 grams per ton, bottom left there. That's the sweet spot for us. That's a $2,500 gold price. It gives you the 2.3 million ounce resource in all categories in a range of grades between 5 and 6 million ounces, 5 and 6 grams per ton. And that is the 3 to 4 million ounce future vision for this project. And what does that give you? It gives you millions of tons, millions of ounces, wide stopes, mechanized mining, higher throughput, amenable to using the existing infrastructure on site, which includes a kilometer deep shaft that's in the old mine that we're looking to now bring into future mine planning. We also showed in that press release what happens if you turn the spigot right on, 1.5 gram per ton cutoff. That's the long-term consensus gold price. At that stage, you're taking out a whole bunch of stuff. But 2.2 for us, that's a sweet spot. That is the vision that we are presenting for the futures. We're the miners here, and that is the way this project should be mined. And talking of mining, last year we published a snapshot preliminary economic assessment. It took the existing resource, it built an underground mine plan around that. It assumed off-site milling and off-site tailings management, so very, very efficient capital profile. And it was a very good result. It gave you about 70,000 ounces a year for about 11 years. $500 million after tax NPV, Canadian dollars, using a 25.50 gold price. At a $4,000 gold price, not 5,000, but just 4,000, gives you $1.2 billion Canadian NPV after tax on that basis. Of course, the mine plan actually was even designed with a lower gold price, still $2,000 per ounce for the design of these mining stopes you're seeing here. It was a snapshot, and very much it was a snapshot, because if you look to see how the new resource compares to the scope of the old mine design, you see that we're really extending beyond the scope of the old mine. This is why we're thinking about shafts at this stage in the old mine, the shaft in the old mine. This is a bigger project and getting bigger still. And that very healthy $1.2 billion NPV project at $4,000 gold is a snapshot of a growing project. So I'll leave you with that sense. This is a project of scale. It's getting bigger. We're tracking in that direction. These are quality ounces right on the highway in Quebec, adjacent to two large mines, LaRonde with Agnico Eagle, Dwyer and Westwood with IM Gold, in the best mining jurisdiction in the world in Quebec. And I'll leave you with those thoughts. Thank you very much.